Since Notion acquired the calendar app Cron in 2022, users and tech observers have been eager to see what it would do with it. And then almost 2 years later, the launch of Notion Calendar answered their questions and really shattered their expectations. Instead of adding new calendar features within the primary Notion app, they released an entirely new app and immediately became one of the best calendars for everyone, regardless of whether they use Notion for other needs. Like Notion itself, Notion Calendar strikes just the right balance between capability and simplicity. It's really gorgeous and intuitive across devices, operating systems, and web browsers. So let's highlight the features that make Notion Calendar so special and that you'll want to be sure to use in order to get the most from the app and streamline your daily workflow. But first, I want to clarify what Notion Calendar isn't. It's easy to assume that Notion Calendar syncs your calendar with Notion databases, but instead it displays database items within your calendar intermixed with your calendar events. And it also makes it easy to link calendar events to Notion pages. And I'll dive deeper into both of these integrations with the primary Notion app. And I also want to mention from the jump that Notion Calendar initially worked only with Google Calendar. That includes teams that use Google Workspace as well as individuals using the free version of Google Calendar for personal use. But Outlook support is on the roadmap, and I hope it's live by the time you see this. That's when Notion Calendar will truly become the best calendar app for everyone. Notion Calendar eliminates the hassle of proposing meeting times with a flurry of emails until you find one that works for everyone. From the week view, you can click Share Availability in the right sidebar, or simply hit S on your keyboard, and Notion Calendar creates a placeholder event with multiple time slots. You can give it a title and specify a duration, then enter your proposed times in the right sidebar, or draw them directly on the calendar. And as you do that, Notion Calendar composes a message with your availability, which you can easily copy and paste into an email. But what's even more useful is the optional scheduling link. Rather than listing possible meeting times in your email, you can link to a page where the recipient can choose a time and finalize the meeting. And when they do that, it'll appear within your calendar and the availability windows for that event will disappear. But if you're coordinating with people within your organization, Notion Calendar allows you to view teammate calendars to the extent they're shared. Just hit the P key and search for the colleague. And with Notion Calendar, you can avoid doing time zone math in your head. You can display any number of time zones side by side, either temporarily or permanently. The keyboard shortcut Command-K prompts a command menu where you can show additional time zones, travel to a time zone, which is the temporary option, or hide a time zone that you've previously displayed. And for each event, Notion Calendar includes a dedicated field for URLs where you can link to related information. I often use this to link to an email thread related to the event. And we'll see how this field is especially powerful when used with Notion pages. And within settings, you can specify a default conference service, which Notion Calendar will use to add a link automatically to new meetings. Meetings being events with one or more participants. You can use Google Meet, you can integrate with your Zoom account, or you can enter a custom conference URL. And with Notion Calendar's growing assortment of integrations, you can preview your events in third-party apps. That includes the menu bar on Macs, widgets on iPhones and iPads, and tabs in the Arc web browser. So I've mentioned a few keyboard shortcuts for accessing features in Notion Calendar. There's a shortcut for pretty much every common action, and the more you use them, the more efficiently you'll manage your calendar to free up time for higher impact work. You can see all shortcuts by typing a question mark, but a few less obvious ones that I use frequently are that Command-K shortcut to prompt the command menu, C to create a new event, M for the month view, W for the week view, and D for the day view. The right and left arrow keys to toggle between time periods. N and B to select the next or previous event. And then Command, comma brings up your settings. And then the last two special features are specific to Notion users. They integrate Notion Calendar with the core Notion app in really profoundly useful ways. And to use them, you'll connect at least one Notion workspace from the integration section of your Notion Calendar settings. And that makes that docs and links field within each event much smarter. With a workspace connected, you can connect an existing Notion page or create a new one directly from Notion Calendar. So the bulletproof framework for Notion workspaces includes a meetings and events database for planning and managing meetings. And with this feature in Notion Calendar, we can create each meeting's corresponding document directly from the event. And because we're adding it to the meetings and events database, it automatically populates with the default meeting template. And with the other powerful Notion integration, you can display database items from your workspaces within your standard calendar, just like events. You can show any databases from your connected workspaces that have a date property and a calendar or timeline view. So one common example is showing projects with a defined time frame. But the use case I've enjoyed most is my posts database. You know, my number one rule for Notion is to centralize information in master databases. So I keep a consolidated database of posts for both Notion VIP and Productivity Nexus. And with Notion Calendar, I can see those posts directly within my everyday calendar, just like a content calendar. And in 2 taps, I can hide all other calendars and databases. I've also found it helpful for my dog's vaccinations. I already manage them in a Notion database, and with Notion Calendar, I'm reminded of when they're due or scheduled for renewal without having to create separate tasks or events. And if I need to shift the date or time, I can do so directly within Notion Calendar. And to modify any other properties, I can jump to the database in just a click. So to help you understand this integration between databases and Notion Calendar, I've made all of these sample databases available from the companion post on Notion VIP. They're yours to duplicate and inspect. And of course, the projects and posts databases are available in their full form to members of Notion A to Z, along with the rest of the Bulletproof Workspace and all other Notion VIP templates and resources. If you're not yet a member of Notion A to Z, definitely join us so you can make the most of Notion and its new integrations with Notion Calendar.